Hello there, welcome to this casual get ready with me video. My hair is still wet because I'm getting ready to film a multiple hairstyling video, so stay tuned for that. But today I thought, why not bring you along as I get ready and let's try out some new makeup because that's always fun to do with friends. This is a new Tarte Man-Eater After Dark palette. I snatched this up. This is the #2 palette. I have the first one. I'll show you comparisons. We get the new Natasha Denona creamy blurring bronzer. I have a pH changing blush. We'll see how pink this goes. And we have one of the coolest new inventions in the world of tubing mascaras and primers. This is exciting. So most of these products I purchased myself, a few of them I was sent a PR, I'll let you know. But let's get started. Already on my eyes, I have eyeshadow primer from Ulta Beauty, the Matte Veil eyeshadow primer. I know some of you are like, can you please show the products longer on the screen? I'm trying to save time, so I just buzz through, but check the description box down below. Everything will be linked. I'll also try to tag a few items here. On my lips, I have the Ravi Beauty lip conditioner. I'm almost to the bottom of this one. My lips are needing some help. All right, foundation. Let's go right there because there is a new foundation from Benefit. It's called the Professional Foundation. If you know anything about Benefit, you know they're famous for their Professional Primer. So when I saw this, I was so intrigued. Medium buildable coverage, natural matte finish, 24-hour long wear. We're not wearing it 24 hours. All day pore blurring. Definitely need that. Non-comedogenic, waterproof and transfer proof. Feels weightless and looks seamless. So I've only worn this once. So this is kind of going to be like brand new because I think I wore it just for a part of a day. I have this shade 17 in Ultra. It says medium neutral olive. I think this is going to be a good shade for me, but we're going to test this out. All right, I'm going to share with you up front my new life-changing foundation hack that I have been doing. And I'm combining several different tips and techniques I've seen from makeup artists, and this has been working fantastic. So I put the foundation on my metal palette here. You want to put it on a hard surface of some kind so it doesn't soak up into the back of the hand. We've all seen people say, work it into the back of your hand, then onto your face, work it into the brush. We're combining things. So I'm starting there. And then what I'm going to do is in the palm of my hand, I'm actually going to take a dab of it, swirl it around so it's spread out, and then work it into the bristle brushes, the bristles of the brush. There we go. This is the 101 brush from BK Beauty. And I'm going to tap this on my skin or press it into my skin. So why I'm doing this kind of spread first is I feel like if you take your brush onto the palette, you're still getting like this glob of foundation just in one part of your brush. If you go from the back of your hand, I always feel like I waste so much product. And the idea is you're trying to warm up the product on your hand anyway, and your palm carries a little more heat than the back. So that is what I have been doing lately with some of my more full coverage foundations. Just seeing if I can get a lighter coverage or lighter layer, I should say. Still want the coverage, lighter layer, feels weightless, and I still don't want to waste a ton of product. So I know going from the back of your hand is very popular, but I always feel like I use 2 to 3 times the amount of product. And this technique so far has been working well for me. So I'll be interested to hear if any of you try this technique. If you've been feeling like your foundation is looking heavy and cakey and you just feel like you're getting too much on your skin, try this. Let me know. All right. I'm gonna have to tie my hair back as it starts drying. Even though it's really short, as it starts drying, it starts wanting to do its own thing. So don't worry, you won't be seeing me keep moving my hair out of the way. I'll tie it back if it gets in the way. But so far, so that is one thin layer. I did not use any primer on my skin. I am now going to go back with just a little bit more on my brush and press it into the center of my face. And I like to start sometimes with foundation if it's supposed to be a pore blurring, so we can just kind of let it have time to set down and sink into the skin before we powder. And then I'm just gonna go with what's left on my palette and tap over any areas that I need the extra coverage. So I actually would say this is medium full. Definitely it is buildable. It does feel lightweight. It's not greasy. And I actually think the color is a pretty spot on match for my current sunless tanning color I've got going on. All right, we're gonna let that sink in. Let's go back to the eyes. I was so excited to see this new palette. It's been a while since anybody's released, well, really even a big palette. I think Natasha Denona Bloom palette was the last kind of larger size palette. And I do have the original Tarte Maneater palette. I actually really enjoyed this, and it is very colorful. So this is number 1. This is the After Dark palette. So when I saw this second one, I had a couple of thoughts. First of all, I thought these are definitely colors that I wear. Oh, let's tip it there so you can see kind of, it doesn't open all the way. So there we go. That's kind of side by side. So I thought, first of all, these are all colors that I wear on a regular basis. But secondly, I thought these are also colors that we see in a lot of Tarte palettes. I love Tarte. I love Tarte eyeshadows, but I have enough palettes to pull out and go, yeah, we've seen this color scheme. But I know with these palettes in particular, the formula is different, especially on these ones that have the designs. And like this one is so calling my name. I haven't even swatched these. So, ooh, I was not expecting that from there. So that's what I find so interesting with these palettes is it seems like you're seeing some color, one color, and then when you swatch it, you go, oh, wow. So let's go in. I'm going to use the E55 from Sigma. E50. I thought that sounded wrong. Let's go in with this shade. You know, I love a good matte brow bone highlight shade, and wow, that's like my exact tone. So nice to see kind of a medium cream shade. I'm gonna go here in this shade right here just for a little brightening right under the arch of the brow. So far so good. Now I will swatch this palette, the whole thing, after I finish this video, and I will insert a picture up on the screen so you can see all of the swatches, and you'll get to see even before I try them all. I am going to swatch a few on the back of my hand though. I usually do that for anything colorful because like I said, you can think you're getting one color and then you swatch it and you go, oh no, okay, so that's that one. This is the only color I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure about that color. So we're not going to do that. Let's do maybe that or that. I think I'm going to do a little hint of some rosiness today. Obviously, I've got pink in my shirt, so I wanted to give myself that option. Most of you know how much I love pinks anyway, but let's go in with this. And I kind of want to do this. I want to use some of the pinks in here because I want to see how it compares to the Dalton Magic Hour palette that I used in a recent vlog. Ooh, that's really, wow. That built a lot more pigment than I thought. That is the shade Wild at Heart. And I'm using the Buzzy Beauty 911 brush. This is a great one just for blending. And I don't want to spend too much time on the eyes, but you know me, this is like art class, right? Combining colors is just my favorite thing. I just love it. And I don't know about you, but most of the people I watch on YouTube, they don't do eyeshadow or hardly any at all. And I know many of you don't wear it on a regular basis, but I love eyeshadow. It's truly still my favorite part of makeup application. All right, let's go in now. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. I'm trying to decide. Let's see. Let's just see how deep that is. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a nice rosy. That's this shade called Nightfall. I am intrigued by this. Let's see how bright this is. when I'm filming, you know, I like to end up with a look that looks like me. Like if I'm filming hair tutorial, I should say, because I don't want to get done and be like, okay, that was a little crazy, but ooh. So these are all like a thicker, chunkier texture, but usually I like these formulas a little bit wet, applied wet. Let's see. Ooh, that one's kind of thick too. Ooh, that's pretty. That's definitely, oh, I love that. That's more peach. So let's kind of just stay in the pinky vibes since I have a pH changing blush and some pink lipsticks possibly. So let's see, what do I want to do? Let's go in with this brush. So this is the E55 from Sigma. And I'm going to go in with, what is it, Hot in here. So that is this shade right here. And I'm going to apply this with a wet brush because I just feel like I don't want to see a bunch of fallout all over. I'm going to use the Make It Last from Milani. And let's just apply a little bit of this on the lid. Let's just see. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, I love that shade. Wow. Okay. A little more color. A little darker pink. I'll brighten up the inner corner, but I just kind of wanted to see if I could make that color kind of the star of the show. That's really pretty. Oh, I love a color like that. And again, looking at it in the pan, I thought it was going to be like this blue lavender color. So that's why you gotta swatch it, right? You never know. And then wet, it's just, oh, wow. Okay, I really like that shade. Okay, and then on the inner corner, I want to, let's try the shade called Charming. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, see, these dry are a little flaky. So I would recommend when you're going in with these shimmer shades, use it on a wet brush. So dip your brush in the shadow and then wet the brush. And then that also helps it maybe go on a little more smoothly. We'll see. So that one's not packing as much of a punch as I would have expected. It's pretty though. Just a little bit of a gradation there. Let's pack on a little more on the other eye. And as I'm doing this, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for your sweet words with my vlog week. As I'm filming this video today, I am still working on getting replies to comments and questions. It was really fun to hear how you guys interacted with those videos. If you didn't see them, I'll link them below. I have a playlist of vlogs, but it was so fun to, feel like you guys were coming along with me each day. It was a lot of work, I'll be honest. In one of the vlogs, I share with you kind of the reality of how long it takes to edit videos. And oh my goodness, I was up late every night editing those videos, trying to get them out because I wanted them to be in succession. So I didn't want there to be any, like 2 days gap before you saw Tuesday's video or whatever. I am currently looking, hold on, for oh, there we go. Okay, BK Beauty 204 brush, which by the way, they may still be having their sale, their anniversary sale. Make sure you check that out. It's a great time to stock up on their brushes. I'm gonna go in with these two shades right here. But I was, by the end of the week, after 7 days in a row of editing, I was toast. I was so tired. So that's why you only saw my one hair video for that following week, for last week, because I didn't have it in me and I barely got my salon visit video out. But I so appreciate your kind words with the vlogs, and I will definitely be doing more. I probably about once a year, I can do the whole week of vlogging, but I'll try to throw in, a few days here and there of vlogs because it is so much fun to just kind of bring you along. I wasn't sure that you all would be interested because let's be real, there's a lot of like just normal life, normal living. Let's use the BK Beauty 206. I think, no, that's the 205. I need the 206. Let's use this one. Yes, 206. And I'm going to go in just with this shade right here. So I think, I don't know if I'm loving, I mean, it's much deeper than I was planning to go, but that's all right. So maybe we'll try out one of the other. I don't feel like I got as much brightness from that inner corner shade as I would have expected from this shade right here. That's what I applied right there. And I mean, even, I'm afraid to do it dry, but let's just do it dry. Let's just see if we can, yeah, see, it's just kind of more of a toppery shade. Yeah, I'm not loving that. And it's actually more gold now. Oh, this is fun. See, this is why you come along for these, because you can just, you know, experiment with me and we can see what works. Although brushed over that purpley pink shadow, it's looking a little more gold. I don't know, but there's fallout. That's why I was trying to do mostly with a wet brush. So I'm going to go back and just wet my brush, not add any new product, and just kind of tap it over, just in the hopes of kind of sealing some of those glitter particles in place. It's pretty. Hang with me here. We got to get our liner and our mascara and all of that, concealer. You know, that's what I talk about all the time. It makes a difference. As far as liners go, oh, let's see here. I forgot to pull out a liner. Let's try, well, I don't think I want to go purple. Let's go with this dark, this is the Charlotte Tilbury liner, the smoky, or the smolder liners, Rock and Coal, and this is the shade Barbarella Brown. Let's just pull in some brown here, and I'll smudge it out with my brush, and then add a little bit of shadow. So I'm going to go back in with the same color we had in the outer corner and just kind of smudge it out. So, but again, just thank you so much for watching. And I was hoping that by kind of, you know, doing 7 days in a row, that it might also help just kind of get my videos back out there. I have heard from so many people that are like, Shirley, why aren't you posting? And I'm like, I am. So hopefully that has helped. And again, if you're new here and you missed those, welcome. I'll link them down below along with all the other products. All right, this is getting a little dark and dramatic, but you know, hey, we're here for some fun, right? That just means we'll go a little lighter on the lips. That's okay, we can do that. And I do have, I have the Benefit Tint, or the Benetint, in a new shade called Dark Cherry. I was thinking of using that. We could still maybe use it today, but I saw somebody use it in a very light way, topped with some gloss, and it was so pretty. So I have been testing that out the last 2 days. It's really fun. But yeah, we've got lots of other things. I'm even seeing out the corner of my eye setting spray. So in that vlog, you saw me pick up the new 1-star setting spray that everybody's talking about. I have some thoughts. I'll share those when we get there. But I would say, okay, eyeshadow, the mattes are performing very well. And I feel like that was my take on the first After Dark palette as well. The mattes were actually my favorite. Out of everything in the palette, I felt like those performed really well. The shimmers, we'll see how they hang together. I'm tempted to go in with a cream shadow over the top, but I'm not going to do it. We're just going to keep moving on. All right, I picked up another new shade in the Urban Decay liners. So I say new shade. They came out with a a line of ones that are for the waterline. You know, we don't line our waterline on this channel. I'll link that video down below. But obviously, it's supposed to, you know, help the liners to stay, or they should be able to stay longer if they last in the low waterline. So these do stay very well on the actual lash line. But they came out with a bunch of colors that have just a slight little different tone. So I just used Cool Coyote, which is the matte version, I think, of the mushroom pencil, which you know I love. So I really like that. I like to use a gray on the lower lash line to balance out pink tones. That's just a little trick of the trade. Okay, I don't even think I'm gonna smudge or set that in place. Let's clean up this fallout underneath. We'll see how much we can get with good old almond oil. I pulled out, I had one of these empty bottles in my cupboard. I have missed having just a pretty bottle to put my almond oil in. I buy almond oil in a big old 16-ounce bottle. I love the Now Solutions one, but there's something about pulling out a fancy bottle when you have to use something like that every day that just makes me smile. So, and that bottle, by the way, that's the Too Faced Plump, what is it, Plump and Prime. I used to be a very regular user of that, but it's like now really hard to find. I don't know if they're discontinuing it, but they were having issues like having fresh product. It was almost like the product was going bad before they sold it. So anyway, that's a big rabbit trail there. Okay. Oh yeah, see, I still have a bunch. Okay, you all know what's happening next, right? We're going to be getting our washi tape out and we're going to be picking up a bunch of that glitter, and then I'll have to go back and touch up my foundation. So if you don't know what I'm doing here, I shared in a video with my 17 kind of hacks, life and beauty hacks, and this is one of them. Scotch tape actually works really well too. It's a little stickier. Washi tape is a little less tacky. So it helps pick up the glitter though, because glitter just does not want to come off. Okay, I think we're good. Let me close this door behind me just in case. Sometimes when I'm filming and I go back to edit and I've opened a door behind me and it's still open, I'm like, oh. Okay, let's see. What do we have going on here? All right. I'm going to add a little touch of the almond oil. So the almond oil, it really does provide just that little bit of extra hydration. If you've not seen me do this before, it cleans up the eyeshadow, but it gives a little prep for the under eye if you have super dry under eyes. For concealer, I have been really enjoying some new ones, Tower 28 and Tula. Tower 28 did send me this, and then I purchased the Tula ones. Let's do, I can't remember which one I used. I think I used Tower 28 last time. So let's do Tula. This is the shade 135. And I'm going to start, I always forget how emollient this one is. Let's start with this one. And I might bring in the lighter shade. And then we'll take a look at our foundation up close and see what we think. I'm using the A506 brush from BK Beauty. And let's just tap that in. I like using a more neutral color under my eyes for concealer because it kind of does the color correcting and concealing all in one. And this concealer, it's really hydrating. And one of you told me about it. And I've actually heard nobody mention this concealer. So I'm like, well, hey, somebody's got to try it, right? And it's really good. All right. Now the foundation, I have to say, looking at my skin, I don't feel like it looks blurred. Like, see the lines? And okay, we're going to press this in. And I did already apply all of my normal skincare and concealer. I have the Merit Great Skin Serum and Moisturizer, and then the K-Skin sunscreen. I didn't want anything too hydrating or glowy. know about this. I'm going to go in with the lighter shade. I have a fly in here. Does anybody hate that? All of a sudden you hear that buzz of a fly and you go, oh, great. Thankfully, Gracie is not afraid of flies. Our last dog was terrified of flies. Like he would have been hovering under my desk, like shaking right now if he would have heard that fly. But thankfully, Gracie, she's a little fly hunter. Oh, well, hopefully you can't hear the buzzing. Okay, I'm going to use, this is the shade 125, I believe, yes. I'm just going to use a little lift here, and then we're going to move on to bronzer. I really didn't want this video to be a bazillion hours long, but it's been a while since I've just sat down and done kind of one of these uncut makeup tutorials. So if it gets a little too long, I may cut out little parts, maybe the brows or something. But let's go next to this Natasha Denona, it's the official name, High Sculpt Liquid Bronzer, Serum Infused Liquid Bronzer. And it says that it is self-setting formula, weightless and ultra smooth, even and non-patchy, mistake-proof application. And it contains sodium hyaluronic derived from and made more effective than hyaluronic acid. So apparently we're, you know, making improvements using a form of hyaluronic acid, but more potent. I have the shade Bonfire, medium warm. Now with this, I'm going to go to the back of my hand. Ooh, but we don't want that glitter. Pause, please. Okay. Back of the hand is where I prefer to apply liquid and cream bronzers and blushes. Then I can work it into here and then onto my face. For my brush, I'm going to use the Buzzy Beauty 905 brush. And you can see this is definitely a bronzer color. It's not a contour shade, which is fine. I do think though that personally, when I'm using a liquid product or cream product like this, typically I prefer it to be just a little cooler because I'm using it to kind of shape the face. And this is pretty orange, and the lighter colors looked even warmer. So it wasn't like they had a medium cool, medium warm, and I just selected medium warm. There are only, I think, 5 or 6 shades. So I'm just not sure that the tone is for me. We'll fix it, but I do want to check out the formula. It does, I mean, a little bit, like this was not even a full pump. Goes a very long way. And I'm all about products that are kind of blurring, self-setting. I like that, especially in the hot summer months. It's nice to not have to layer, you know, a cream and a powder, but I'm probably still gonna put a little bit of a powder on, maybe just to add some shaping, but we'll see. Okay, I do see it kind of setting down right here and looking very smoothing. So I like that. That's really nice. I'll bring a little bit onto the pore area here. Okay, let's let that sit. Let's see what happens. Next, let's go in. These kind of scare me, but Pixi sent me this. They came out with mini versions of their blushes. Previously, their blush came in like this large of a package, and it looked almost like deodorant, like it was that big. And I thought, who is ever going to go through that much product? So I think this is genius. This is plenty of blush. And this shade was intriguing to me because it's a pH changing blush. You know, it's supposed to be my perfect pink. Now, something that is important is I want to make sure I'm applying it, well, yeah, maybe we'll go right on the brush with this and then onto the face. All right, we're going to do a clean brush, and let's go from the product. So it's kind of funny. It doesn't look like it's going to be much. All right, here we go. Let's just see what happens. How much pink we get. I'm already having one of those days where, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm like, let me take this blush off because I look like my cheeks are on fire. Oh goodness. We'll try and find a stopping place. But knowing that I'm gonna apply some powder over the top, I'm not afraid to go with a little extra. It'll be okay, right? Let's see here. Okay, all right. I have to say, I'm not loving the foundation without powder. Now, I always do withhold complete judgment until I have applied some powder. I'm gonna just take, I have this new Real Techniques sponge. They came out with the new Nudes Bare Finish Sponge Duo, and it's been a long time since I've used, their original ones were orange, you know? I'm just gonna tap this and see. I don't really feel like I have excess product on my skin, but that foundation, it's not set down. Like, it's still coming off. So weird. Okay, just not what I was expecting at all. All right, given that, I want to give this a fair chance. So I'm going to go in. I know this powder is no longer available, so I won't hold it up long, but this is the Honest Beauty Invisible Blurring Powder. I'm going to go in with this just to set kind of the center of my face. I'm going to use a new powder under my eyes, but I want to just give this a fighting chance to, you know, prove to me that it can be long wearing and blurring. But yeah, I'm surprised by the lack of dry down. I'm just not sure. As I said, my skin prep is my normal kind of skin prep these days, and nothing super extra glowy. So I don't know. I'm not sure that the benefit is what I was hoping it would be. So, all right. Now, under the eyes, I did show in a recent video, it was in the vlogs, that I had been using the Revolution Hydro Cool Baking Powder. I had given it another chance because I didn't like it on the face with a powder puff. I used this under my eyes and I've really been enjoying it. Well, I got a new product. This was sent to me. Dermstore is a retailer that sells a bunch of different brands that you can't get at Sephora, and one of them is By Terry. Well, By Terry has hyaluronic hydra powder. There's a couple of different ones. This one is 8 times hyaluronic acid types. So it's supposed to be really, really hydrating. I love that it comes in a mini because I'm just using this under my eyes, and it is a little pricey, but I have actually enjoyed this so far under my eyes. So let's try this again. I'm using a Real Techniques setting brush, and this is just a limited edition color, but it is their standard brush that they have available. All right, hold on. Let's get our creases out first. Make sure. Okay, now let's just tap a little. Ooh. And what I like about a powder like this that has hydrating benefits is I feel like it's gonna get better looking with time, not worse. So with a typical setting powder that looks blurring up front, but then just continues to dry out your skin throughout the day, I don't feel like this is like that. So we're gonna give that a try and let that sink in and set. And now with my face powdered, I don't mind it, but I feel like the bronzer has kind of disappeared, if I'm being honest. So let's go in. What did I get here? I did get a new shade of the RMS bronzer. What is this? Tan Lines. This is the shade. Let's go in with BK Beauty 103, and we're going to use this on tops of the cheeks. And let's just bring a little more shaping and coloring. I'm going to try not to have to do full-on contour if I don't have to, but we'll see. I love that Ulta is carrying RMS because it makes it so much more accessible. And then if something doesn't work out, you feel like you can take it back to Ulta. You can also get a lot of RMS on Amazon. Okay, that's better. And oddly enough, I feel like it brought back a little more color from the blush. Let's try a little more blush on top of powder and let's see how this goes. I know that can be a little scary, but let's just see what it does. If it can get enough pH reading to give me some more pink. Because yeah, the pink in here is definitely not pink enough, but on the cheeks, that's really pretty. Okay. For whatever reason, I don't love pH changing products usually on the lips because they always turn bright fuchsia. But on the cheeks, I feel like I'm a little willing to try some craziness. All right, what else do we have to try out here? Inner corner highlight. Boy, okay, we'll give our palette another chance. Let's just go in. I'm gonna go in with this right here. And yeah, again, I feel like the mattes are really nice and soft and silky, but I'm not loving how the shimmers have turned out, at least the ones that I was testing today. I mean, it's nice, but okay. Brows. Let's go to brows. And for this, I have been trying to, use up some open ones that I had in my drawer. So I've used up, I think, 2 of the Ravi Beauty ones. I do love that. But I pulled out oldie but a goodie. Not that old, the CoverGirl. This is the Nano Brow Pencil, and this is the shade Blonde. So I've been using a little bit of this, and then I did also pull out yesterday my L'Oreal, the 2-pronged pin. The one that is, well, it looks like 2 horns, but I liked how my brows came out yesterday with that. So I may pull that one in just to give you something different. If you haven't seen that one in action, it is really nice. It just takes me a little longer, and I feel like I really have to make sure I don't get out of control with the application. All right, let's just get these brows filled in here. So you may have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen the mixer, that event that was at my hairstylist salon where she works, and that was so fun. I got to meet a couple of you. Thank you so much for coming by to say hello. I loved it. If I could have all of you just fly out and come to say hi, that would be so much fun. But it was kind of a mixture. We had like the 2 city mayors in our area were there, and Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of business owners. So it was kind of a mixture of kind of like the good old days. That's what my stylist and I were talking about. The good old days where in cities you really worked together as businesses and stuff to try and help promote and grow kind of local businesses. And so yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to just meet everybody, and I gave away a couple of things. One of the raffle prizes was a haircut with my hairstylist. So I know a lot of you would have loved to get that prize. So it was fun. It was a fun night, but yeah, I thought, oh, this is a little intimidating, going to an event like that. I mean, I know a couple people that obviously that work in the salon, and my stylist was there. I told her she was my wing woman. So she was hanging out with me, and so that was fun. But that has been kind of a recent fun event. Okay, so we've got our brows pretty much done. And I do love this pencil. You go through it pretty quickly because it is such a fine tip. The Ravi Beauty one is just a smidge thicker or bigger. And so I feel like you can fill in your brows just maybe a little quicker, but still get that hair-like stroke. Okay, this is the pen I was talking about, the L'Oreal Faux Brow. And again, L'Oreal, if you're listening, could we put the color actually on the product itself? Once you take it out of the box, there is no color. So I'll put down below which one this is. I think this is the blonde, but I don't know for sure. I have 2 different shades, and one of them is definitely darker than the other. But I thought that the 2 prongs would be harder, but it's actually a little easier, I think, sometimes, because you can get at least 2 hair strokes that are the same with the NYX lift and snatch pen. You know, you got to be have good control, I should say, of your hand movement. And yeah, this is pretty nice. But you do want to keep a spoolie on hand to just soften it in case. And I do have a brow gel probably throw on here. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of a little strong, but that's okay. We're just, you know, playing around. I do have to film hair tutorials, so I don't want this to end up being too crazy, right? Okay. Oh goodness. Let's just see. I do hope, I was talking to several of you through comments in my vlog, we were having such hot weather that week, and I know so many of you have been having hot weather. We had that week, and then all of a sudden, our weather just kind of got a little more mild, and we had 2 weeks of just like amazing weather for July. I mean, 90s is cool for us, upper 80s, upper 90s for the top temperature. This week, as we're heading into August, it's warming up. So we're all just kind of bracing ourselves. I'm going to go in. This I pulled out from the back of my drawer. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is like the laminating brow gel. I have to be go in with a real light hand, but holy moly, this does not budge. I mean, this glues your brows down. I did this yesterday, and as I was trying to take off my makeup at night, I was still like crusted on. I was using a new cleanser, but that told me the cleanser was definitely not going to be enough to get this off. So, but yeah, this, what is it even called? This is called Brow Freeze Gel. It definitely is, again, something I've had open in my drawer. It's very similar. I would say this is more liquidy than if you use the Got to Be hair gel that I talked about in my Genius Beauty and Lifestyle Hacks. Check out that video. I pulled out those tubes just in case I decided I wanted to use that instead today, but I do like to use products up in my drawer when I can. So, and yesterday, like I said, I had pulled this out and I thought, okay, I think this works good. And when I'm doing a hair tutorial in particular, because I have to go wet my hair after I'm done here, I like to make sure that everything's gonna stay put, right? Okay, let's go to lashes next. This new mascara, Dibs sent me this. So Dibs Beauty, they have had the dual-ended, they're very popular for their dual-ended blushes and bronzers, these guys. And I have several of those. I love them. And they just came out with this mascara. And this is the most genius yet that I have seen. Where's my little card on this? It's flake-free, smudge-proof, easy to remove with warm water. I'll explain why. But what is so amazing about this, not only is it dual-ended, but it has a primer on one end and a mascara on the other. You're like, Shirley, we've seen that before. Well, the primer is a tubing primer that is brown. Look at that. So you can choose to just wear this on your lower lashes, what I'm gonna do today. So you're just wearing the brown primer that is also a tubing formula, so it won't smudge, it won't flake. Or you can apply this and then go in with the black mascara, which is on the other end. And the combination, that tubing primer helps give it a little extra lift, helps lock it in, but then makes it relatively easy to take off. Now, the wand on the black, this reminds me of L'Oreal Lash Paradise, that kind of hourglass brush. It does look like it's gonna go on pretty clumpy, but I've actually felt like it's not super clumpy. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna apply, and I think, well, let's go ahead. I'll curl my lashes. Why not? I'm kind of getting lazy and not doing this every day if I don't need to, just to give my lashes a nice Reprieve. And this is the rougher eyelash curler. It's still my favorite. I did get one from Tower 28 Beauty sent me their lash curler. I'll show it in another video. I don't have it right here, but it's a good example of how not every lash curler fits every eye shape. There are different sizes. Oh, there's my friendly fly. Have to take care of that. Okay, this brush, it has more bristles on the top, and then the bottom is kind of shorter ones. So I like to use that on the lower lashes. This top part, let's just work it through. And I've only used this, boy, maybe a handful of times. And I do feel like you can feel the tubing technology a bit when you're taking it off with warm water at night, but I still have to go in with coconut oil to remove the rest of it. So it does come off pretty easily, but I still find that I need that extra little bit to get the rest off. I do feel like it does not smudge at all on me. And for the most part, I mean, other than maybe a few couple tiny little flakes, it has remained relatively flake-free for me. So we'll continue to check that out today and going forward. But I have really enjoyed this. And again, I just love the idea that you can have all of those options in one package. So you don't have to pack a brown mascara for the lower lashes and a separate primer and a separate mascara for the uppers, because, you know, I'm that person. I do that. But you don't have to do that. This is one thing you throw in your travel bag and go, or, you know, one item in your makeup bag. You don't have to have 3 taking up space. Now this, when I pull out the brush, there's quite a lot of product on it, but amazingly enough, I don't feel like it goes on like super clumpy. So of course I say this as I'm putting it on camera, and we might start getting some clumpiness, but we'll see. So far, I felt like I have actually not had issues with it clumping. And in fact, I do feel like I still need to build up a couple coats to get the volume that I want, but we'll see how it goes today. So I do feel like this is the year of mascara releases, and in particular tubing formulations. So I feel like, you know, we're about ready to fall asleep of like, yeah, okay, another tubing mascara. And then they came out with this. So I give them congratulations of coming up with something new that we haven't seen before. So I'm just gonna keep applying this, and I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the rest. I'm gonna apply the brown primer on my lower lashes, and then we'll get to lips. That applied the lower lash line, and again I used the shorter side of that brush, so this side that has shorter bristles, and I just put it right up against the lash line, and I feel like it applies so quickly. Before I had tried using the longer side of the brush to do my lower lashes, and I'm like, I'm not liking this. And then I rolled the brush like that, and I thought, wow, this is great. Now I do have a few little kind of, you know, taps on my lid that I'm gonna clean up once this dries. But in the meantime, let's go to lips. All right, around the edge of my lips, I'm just gonna pull out the drugstore option for my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. This is the Morphe one, and this is the super light shade, but I think I can still get away with it. I might top it a little bit of the dark. So the light one is called, what is this? These are the solo artists, and this one is Airplay, and then the other one is Mixtape. One of these days I'll have that memorized. I'm gonna go over the top of that just a little bit here with Mixtape, just because I don't want to have a super pale ring around my lips. This will be a great color all on its own, Airplay, for me, probably in the winter time. But these come in several different shades, and I do still love the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, but I want to give all of you a cheaper option if you don't already own the MAC Paint Pot. This is another very, very similar option, just slightly different colors. So I feel like I need to maybe, okay, there we go. I don't want to end up with dark, weird shadows either. Okay. And the reason why I do this, for those of you who don't know, is because I have very uneven lip lines, but this also will help prevent lipstick from bleeding. So there we go. All right, we've got that on. These do, I feel like, dry faster and set faster than the MAC paint pots do. Okay, for lip liner, I think I am, well, I did just get a Sephora order that was delivered literally right before I sat down to film. And I had ordered a few things during the National Lipstick Day. Ooh, that's pretty. Well, could we get any more perfect? This is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Liner, and this is the shade Dusty Rose. Let's go with a little Dusty Rose, shall we? I do love these. I have one or two other colors. They have the pencil sharpener at the end, and then they are a twist up. So you don't have to pull out the sharpener from the drawer. Let's see. Oh, that's a pretty color. I would say, I mean, very dusty, slightly warm. That's pretty. And my experience with the other colors I have is that these set really well, which I am excited. So I haven't gotten them yet, but I ordered the new Ravi Beauty lip liners. I'll be testing those for you. I'm very excited to try those out. Those sound amazing and like a different type of formulation. So I'm excited. Okay, now I'm really debating on what to do on my lips. I feel like the dark cherry is gonna be just a little too brown. Like the lip liner is already just a slight little bit of brown, so I don't think I'm gonna use this today, but this is a fantastic, fantastic stain for the lips. You can use it on the cheeks too, but I haven't tried that. Just on the lips. All right, I'm gonna see, I just got in that Sephora order 2 lipsticks from Mario, and I've actually never tried his lipsticks. I have his creamy kind of lip butters. Oh, that's pretty. This is the shade 917. Let's see what this looks like. Literally haven't even swatched these. Now that's pretty good. That might be, ooh, nice packaging. Online, it looks like this is just gonna be plastic, but it's got a nice kind of heavy duty metal base to it. Really like that. And on National Lipstick Day, these were all, oh, greatly discounted. Not quite drugstore price, but almost. So that's when I like to try some new things. Now this color is, what is it? South Shore. And I'm, oh, aha. Well, you know I love a good nude lipstick color too. And that's gorgeous. I think we're gonna do maybe a combination of the two. Why not? Let's do a little bit. This is 917. Yeah, this is a little warm on my lips. I sure hope you can't hear that fly. Oh my word. It's an angry fly. It wants out and I want it out of here. Okay. That was just one light layer. It's definitely a warmer pink than I thought it might be from the back of my hand. So that was that one, but let's do a little bit of this in the center. Okay. I think I like that. The formula is a little thicker, so it feels like it's going to stay around a little longer. We shall see. All right, I'm going to go film my hair tutorial, and I think, oh, you know what, before I do, let's do a little contour. I just need a little kind of chiseling, right? So let's do a little, oh, what do I do? I'm not sure. Let's go in. This is the Laura Mercier Bronzer Duo. This is 30 can. And I'm going to just use the rougher number 5 brush. And I'm just going to go in this side right here. I just feel like I need a little something right there. And a little bit on the nose as well. I'll use the, well, where's my brush? I always have my favorites that I'm desperately looking for, and they just go into hiding when I'm looking for them. Okay, there it is. This is the N16 Nikki LaRose and BK Beauty. So I'm just gonna do a little bit. So I like to make sure I've got the proper contour when I'm gonna be filming, especially a bunch of different styles in one. Okay, and we'll just kind of finish this off here. All right, and then bring a little bit of that under the chin. And oh yeah, I forgot this technique. We need to pull the contour down onto the neck. Oh dear. All right, and my bronzer brush. Blend it all. All right, let me go do my hair, and then we'll come back for final analysis. One thing I forgot before I go do my hair is we need to set everything in place. And I told you I was going to give you my report on this. This is the 1-star On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. Okay, I'm going to put this on, but I can't talk and I can't breathe for several seconds after. When I spray this, if I breathe it in, the fragrance that's in it is so strong that it makes me sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. So I've only used this a couple of times, and I've learned that I need to hold my breath or else I will sneeze up a storm. And therefore, I'm not sure how good this is for my skin on a regular basis, but let's give it a try here. One of you reminded me to pull out my fan. So that just helps kind of blow it out of the way, but I do feel like it sets everything down. Oddly, I don't feel like it doesn't feel quite as much like hairspray as the L'Oreal one does. But again, I'll keep you posted. The scent, the fragrance, I love the fragrance, but it makes me sneeze. So I'm gonna go do my hair. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I just finished filming the hair tutorial video, and it's on multiple styles. And this is the last one that we ended up with. So if you wanna see how I got this, I will link the video at the end of this video and also in the description box down below as soon as it goes up. But for now, let's look at the finished makeup look. And I have some thoughts. I think overall, once the foundation was powdered, I didn't mind how it looked, but I just, on the second use of this foundation, I have to say it's not as pore blurring as I thought it would be, at least for now. As the day goes on, that may be a different story. I'll keep you posted. As far as the eyeshadow palette goes, I really liked the mattes, and as I'm looking up close here, I feel like the shimmer has already kind of faded. Like we started with a pretty metallic finish, you know, by using it wet. And now what we have is still pretty, but I'm a little disappointed in how the shimmers are holding up or not holding up. I think these are definitely ones that with a cream base, they will last better and maybe give more pigment. So I'll continue to use that. I love the color story. And again, the matte shadows are beautiful, but I'm not sure. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be enough of a difference with this palette than if you already have the Magic Hour from Dalton. In fact, let me just pull that one out. I call it the Magic Hour. It's the Magic palette. I mean, I think you're getting almost, obviously it's fewer shadows and there aren't quite as many like copper tones in here as there are here, but I think the quality of these is just as good. I like the shimmers in here much better. So depending on how many shadows you want to work with, it's not bad, but it's not my favorite. And I would say the same with this bronzing cream. I like it. I don't love it. I much prefer, again, I think this gives you a much better finish. It's easier to use. This is the Dalton, what is this? Endless Summer. This was in my summer little pink box last year. And I mean, I have used this thing to death. Like, I need a new one. I've hit pan. I love this so much. I feel like this blends seamlessly. And the color on this is just slightly less warm than this. Again, not a bad product. I guess I was just expecting more. I do love the blush. The blush has lasted well. I think this was really fun. And I don't think this is one that I will ever just swipe on my cheeks, but by using the brush, it went on easily. The mascara, I mean, I wet my hair, I blow dried it, I've done all kinds of things and it has held up well. And I think my lashes look really good. I didn't go crazy with coats. Like this is basically, I think like 1.5 on the tops over that primer and then just one coat on the bottom. So I'm really impressed with this. I think this is great and I'm gonna really enjoy using this. And then the lip, I really love it. The lip liner, I had to use coconut oil to get it off of my hand before I filmed. So that tells you how long lasting that is. And the lipstick, my lips feel nice and moisturized. I have still a good amount of color. So I think those things really stood out to me. The powder under the eyes, I mean, my under eyes actually don't feel powdery at all, which can be good, can be bad. I'll continue to test it, but it definitely doesn't dry the under eyes out. So that's a good thing. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for coming along. I will list everything that I showed you in today's video down below. I will also link the hair tutorial down there in case it's not up yet. Once it goes up, I'll also link it up on the screen here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you for coming along for my week of vlogs. I'll continue to do those periodically and I will see you next time. Bye.